Solving equations level 3. Level 3 equations include equations with brackets. So we have to think about removing the brackets first by doing distributive property or by expanding or multiplying, if you want to think about it like that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to start by taking a look at what is in the front of that bracket. And that is going to be the item that you're going to multiply each term inside of your bracket by. So I want to multiply my x by my 3, and I want to multiply my 1 by my 3. So showing all the steps, this is going to look like 3 times x plus 3 times 1. And I'm doing a plus sign because my 3 is a positive value, and that's equal to 12. So 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 1 is 3. So some people show this step here, and some people can go right from this arrow right to this step right there. Whatever works best for you, you go ahead and do it that way. Once we've removed the brackets, becomes an equation that we know how to solve already. So the first thing we want to do is eliminate the constant from the same side as the variable. So the opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3 from both sides. So I have 3x plus 3 take away 3 is equal to 12 take away 3. That leaves me with 3x. My 3 take away 3 is 0, so that's gone on that left-hand side. And this is equal to 12 take away 3, which is 9. From there, I want to eliminate the coefficient from the same side as my variable. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So I want to divide both sides by 3. So I have 3x divided by 3 is equal to 9 divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm left with 1x, or just x, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. Again, I've shown you all of the steps. If you have a more efficient manner of solving this, if you have been able to master some shortcuts, then go ahead and do that. Remember, I showed you some shortcuts in a previous lesson, so if you want to do the shortcuts, you are welcome to do those shortcuts. If you need to show all the steps, that's perfectly fine too. This next one, we have negative times x plus 4 is equal to 14. So we want to multiply everything inside of the bracket by the number in front of the bracket. So I'm multiplying negative 2 by x, and I'm multiplying negative 2 by 4. So you will see this time I put a minus sign here because that's the sign that is associated with the 2. And that's equal to 14. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. And now that I've eliminated that bracket, it's an equation that I know how to solve. So I'm going to start by removing the constant. So the opposite of subtracting 8 is adding 8 to both sides. Negative 2x, negative 8 plus 8 is 0. And 14 plus 8 is 22. From here, I need to eliminate the coefficient in front of my variable. Right now, I'm multiplying by negative 2. The opposite is dividing by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1, so I'm left with 1x, or just x. And 22 divided by negative 2 is negative 11. So you'll see that I've skipped some steps, but I'm still doing the same process. Okay. We'll go through some more examples. I have 5 times x minus 3, so I'm multiplying this 5 by everything inside of the bracket. 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, and that's equal to negative 30. So you'll see that I've done that without showing that intermediate step there. From here, I want to get rid of the constant that's on the same side as the variable. So I'm moving it to the other side, and I do that by doing the opposite operation, which is addition. So I have 5x is equal to negative 30 plus 15. Negative 30 plus 15 is negative 15. And from here, I'm getting rid of that coefficient. I'm bringing it to the other side, and I'm doing the opposite operation, which is division. So I have x is equal to negative 15 divided by 5, or x is equal to negative 3. So again, this is just another way to do the same problem. So whatever method works best for you, you stick with that method. The next example, negative 4 times x minus 1 is equal to 8. So I'm taking this negative 4 and I'm multiplying it by everything inside of the bracket. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4, and that's equal to 8. I want to get rid of this constant term, which is our positive 4. That's on the same side as my variable. The opposite of adding 4 is subtracting 4. So negative 4 plus 4 take away 4 is 0, and 8 take away 4 is 4. From here, I want to eliminate my coefficient. So the opposite of multiplying by negative 4 is dividing by negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is 1, so I'm left with 1x, or just x. And 4 divided by negative 4 is negative 1. We'll go through two more examples just so that you have this solidified. I'll show you all of the steps for this first one. These two examples involve more than one bracket. And so what we need to remember for these questions is that we have to apply the distributive property to both sets of brackets. So for this first bracket, I'm multiplying my 3 by everything inside. And for my second bracket, I'm multiplying by the 2 by everything inside. So I have 3 times b plus 3 times negative 1. So remember, it's a positive here because my 3 is positive, and I'm keeping my negative 1 in that bracket there. And that's equal to 2 times b plus 2 times negative 2. So again, I'm just showing you all of those steps. If you don't need to show this intermediate step, that's perfectly fine. 3 times b is 3b. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. 2 times b is 2b. And 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. From here, now I want to move all of my variables to one side of my equation. I'm going to do that by moving my b term first. So I'm moving this 2b to the other side. And I do the opposite of adding 2b, which is subtracting 2b from both sides. So I have 3b take away 2b minus 3 is equal to 2b minus 2b take away 4. 3b take away 2b is 1b, or just b, minus 3. 2b take away 2b is 0, so those terms disappear, and I'm left with negative 4. From here, I want to get rid of the constant term that's on the same side as my variable. The opposite of subtracting 4 is subtracting 3 is adding 3. So b take away 3 plus 3 is equal to negative 4 plus 3. Remember to do the same thing on both sides of your equation. b negative 3 plus 3 is 0, so that disappears from the left-hand side. And negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So b is equal to negative 1. So that's the value that if I were to substitute it back into this equation, it would make the left side equal the right side. And in this last example, I want to apply the distributive property to both sets of brackets. So I'm multiplying my 4 by everything in the first bracket, and I'm going to multiply by 2 by everything in the second bracket. 4 times d is 4d. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. I'm not going to apply it to the 10 because the 10 isn't inside of that bracket. So you only multiply the coefficient in front of the bracket by everything inside of the bracket. And that's equal to 2 times d, which is 2d, and 2 times 3, which is positive 6. From here, you want to collect any like terms. So before I think about moving anything from one side to the other side, I want to collect these like terms on the left-hand side. So I have 4d, negative 12 plus 10 is negative 2. and that's equal to 2d plus 6. So I made that a little bit simpler so that when I start to move things over, it's not going to be as complicated. I'm going to begin by taking my 2d and I'm going to bring it to the other side. So I'm getting rid of it from the right-hand side, and I do that by doing the opposite operation, which is subtracting 2d from both sides, because right now it's a positive. So 4d take away 2d is 2d. So 2d minus 2 is equal to 2d take away 2d is 0, so that's equal to 6. From here, I want to get rid of the constant term that's on the same side as my variable. The opposite of subtracting 2 is adding 2 to both sides. 2d minus 2 plus 2 is 0, and 6 plus 2 is 8. And the last step is to get rid of the coefficient in front of the variable. The opposite of multiplying is dividing, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I'm left with 1d, or just d, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. If you have any questions about this lesson, please reach out, send me an email, or sign up for a virtual help session, and I will see you in the next lesson.